Super Bowl analysis. This time we're doing Super Bowl 42. Well, it's going to be one of those long productions, but let's take it first with an intro to Super Bowl 42. Why am I wearing the dolphin cap and a hoodie and short sleeve? Why am I doing that? Well, it's because Bill Belichick is going for perfection here to meet the Miami Dolphins' perfection of 72. Not Dan Marino. He was 0-1, but that's the only thing that says Super Bowl on it. And New England going for perfection, going for the 19-0. If you remember, they had a chip on their shoulder from the year before when there were accusations of them having cheated in past Super Bowls. We won't get into that. Maybe that might be a SALT production one day. But they were killing and clobbering opponents. They were going for the jugular. They weren't settling for no 17-14, 21-17 victories. And they were over 500 points. Brady threw for 50 touchdowns. It was a historic offense. And that's unique for Bill Belichick because he won 3 Super Bowls where the defense was the focal point of the team. Intangibles. Do your job. Give the most, a few penalties, no turnovers, make the big play, clutch, fourth down conversions, that type of thing. I would call coaching, good coaching and effort, all the intangibles that you hate to hear, but they were a dynasty of intangibles. This time it was a prolific offense. They had Randy Moss along to go with Wes Welker. And Tom Brady wasn't just a game manager, if you want to say, like he was in the 3 years they won their first 3 Super Bowls. This was, again, they still have the intangibles, and they still have Bill Belichick as their coach, but it is a Super Bowl offense, and they're blowing out opponents. How good was the defense? Not as good as it was in the Super Bowl years. There's no more Richard Seymour. There's no more Willie McGinnis. It's an older Teddy Bruschi. They brought in older players, like they bring in a junior S.A.L.T for this year. I think it wasn't even the beginning of the year, towards the middle of the year. They do have a Vince Wilfork in his prime, stuff in the middle. Mike Vrabel, solid player. No more Ty Law, but they got Asante Samuel. He would be the anchor of the secondary. Always the type of defense that's good in the red zone. This was the type of defense, however, that I would rate medium to good, but they do give up yards, just that they don't give up a lot of points. So you put together the great offense together with a pretty solid defense coached by Bill Belichick. They're going for perfection here. What about the Giants? The Giants were they slipped into the playoffs. Eli Manning threw 27 interceptions during the year. But when it came the right time, it came the end of the year, they went on a run, made the playoffs, and beat Tampa Bay. Had to win all their games on the road. Beat Tampa Bay, beat Dallas, won a classic game in the cold in Green Bay over, what is it? It's 23-20, yeah, an overtime game. And so their road to the Super Bowl, they're not anywhere near perfection, but they have a hard-hitting defense coached by Steve Spagnuolo. Great pass rush, Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, Usi Aminura, Cofield, what's his name? Cofield. They have a pass rush. They got a defense and a very good defensive coach. I always feel that the most important guy on the defense, if you had to pick one guy, is the defensive coordinator, and in this case, Steve Spagnuolo is the most important guy. I would say after this game, I'd say Steve Spagnuolo was the most MVP, not most valuable player, most valuable person. You take him off of their squad, they don't win the Super Bowl. And as we watch it, we're going to watch to see we're going to focus on Brady on offense versus the Giant defense. And we're going to be watching, was it that Tom Brady just didn't play well this game? Or was it that the defense of the Giants rose to the occasion and stopped Brady? Now, how am I supposed to determine that? I'm going to show as many highlights as I can to try to determine that. And usually I give the benefit of that to the defense. I usually assume a solid defense. If you're hitting the quarterback and rushing the quarterback and hitting him, that's going to stop any offense. I don't care how good they are. And defense wins championships is going to be a great SALT production. Stay tuned for that one. One last thing, they did meet, the Giants, and one last intro, they did meet in the last game of the year. You see, the New England was wasn't all, when I say they were clobbering, there was a time in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, where they were having some trouble. They slipped by, remember, they slipped by Baltimore on I think that was a Monday night game. They got lucky on a few occasions to keep that they were still going for the 19-0. They didn't, in their playoff run, they beat Jacksonville. It wasn't a so impressive victory, 31-20, and the 21-12 victory over San Diego after Rivers beat Peyton Manning. He then faced Brady in the championship, 21-12. It wasn't that impressive for New England, but again, 18-0 is pretty impressive. But the Giants, on the last day of the year, playing for nothing, New England playing for nothing other than having a perfect season, and the Giants had injuries. And they wanted to rest some of their, which they did, but you'll hear many of the fans and players say that the way they played New England that day, and they had a more than one touchdown lead late in the third quarter, almost ruining New England's perfection right there, that gave them a confidence that they could, if they would meet in the Super Bowl, the only place they could meet in the playoffs, that the Giants said, hey, they might be 18-0, but we could play with them, and they did show that in the last game of the season. Brady ended up throwing deep to Moss it was incomplete. He goes, let me go right back to that, throw to Moss, touchdown. That was one way they just kept going. Just throw the ball up deep to Moss. He'll come down with it. So here we are, Super Bowl 42. I think I gave a nice intro there. It's perfect. It's New England going for perfection versus a strong Giant defense, a 9-7 but on a roll Giant team. And we'll pause. Okay, right out of the bat, we see almost exactly some of the things that I just said in the intro. The Giants get the ball to start and have a 10-minute drive to start the game. I'm not even going to show any of it because it was basically a run here and a run there and a 3rd down and 8, and they completed a number of 3rd downs on it. Again, Belichick's defense was a bend and not break, and after 10 minutes and how many plays was it? There was 16, 17 plays. They had to settle for a field goal. So 3-0. Again, the running game of the Giants with Jacobs and Bradshaw, the rookie Ahmad Bradshaw, right away getting yardage. New England, not a dominant defense, but the type of defense that will not give up many points. And sure enough, they hold the Giants to 3. Here comes New England now. And I want to show right away the first play that New England has the ball down 3. Again, so like I said, I was right. See, it was over 10 minutes because there's only 4:52 left. So I point with the arrow up there. 50 touchdown passes. Boom. Now, of course, he was going to get hit on that because they weren't protecting. It was a screen. I'm not trying to show, look at the pass rush on that, but right away, a message is shown. Brady's on the floor already. It's the first play. But I have heard that if that ball would have been completed, that screen probably would have went for a touchdown. Now, New England is going to score a touchdown on this drive. As a matter of fact, they score, and then it stays 7-3 all the way till the fourth quarter. So defense for both teams, dominant through 3 quarters. But I do want to show that even in the touchdown drive, Brady is getting hit. And let us go right to. I'm going to pause. You see, I'm utilizing that. I'm getting high tech in my old age. Here we go. Okay, here's our first pass play that Brady had. This is about 15 yards later. Back to pass. Plenty of time. With all day, in the words of Joe Buck. For some reason, there must have been a miscue. I don't know what it was over there, but. Okay, so 2nd down and 10. They've also used Maroney on this drive, right? Maroney was used and got some yardage in this game. As a matter of fact, Maroney's the one who ran it out to the 43 while they started in good field position. And let's go now to let's get a catch a few of their plays. Just a random play. Here we go, 2nd and 10. Back to pass. See, they still have that. They have Stallworth and Welker for the short game. So they don't just I talked about the throws, way down to Moss, nice. But they also have Stallworth. They also have Welker. And they utilize the short game and long game. Again, there's a rarity that Brady would use the long game in his many, many years with the Patriots. It's not often that his long game was a key component of the offense. So, All right, let's get it over to, I don't have to, this one I don't have to pause. We could go right to 1806 without much delay, like the old-fashioned way I used to do it. Here we go, back to pass. Again, because it was a short throw, the pressure wasn't able to get to Brady. Now, had he held on a little bit longer, there was going to be pressure there. You could replay that yourself and see that. Now, let's go a little pause here. They just went down for a report about Brady's ankle. If you remember, that was a factor before the game. There's a 9-yard pass to Falk. Let me just finish my thought there that if you remember, they were talking about Brady's ankle before the game. He had been injured. He looked okay in this game. You want to say it was a factor that he wasn't able to be 100%. Didn't look that way, but this is a Kevin. How Falk's been there forever. He was there for all the. So he's always used well by the Patriots throughout the years as a short guy out of the backfield. A typical guy that I don't think would do well for anybody else but a Bill Belichick. He's the type of guy that Bill Belichick can get the most out of. That would be a S.A.L.T production. Different how to explain what I mean by that. They're in the red zone. The prolific offense right away on their first drive. There he had time. And he threw it to there goes Benjamin Watson, a tight end, and he's used again, obviously, another weapon, not as much, not like a Gronkowski, but another weapon for Brady. And Joe Buck's saying right now that with all the weapons ahead, you would think Benjamin Watson would be single covered and would be a weapon. So that, again, the New England could get you. I'm trying to give you a picture. New England's focal point of that year was offense. I think I've made that point already. Let's pause. Third and 10 at the 17. Brady. Oh yeah, as he got hit, you saw that. He threw it as he got hit. But because Benjamin Watson in the middle, they just talked about getting Benjamin Watson in the middle. You think it's a weapon, and Pierce never turned around. Pierce, a key factor, by the way, I didn't mention him as a linebacker for Giants. Let's watch as Watson gets behind him, and Pierce never turns around. There you go, right there. Oh, he did turn around at the end. He had already done face guarding before. Wow, I never noticed that. He actually had turned a little bit. The turn was a little bit late. And then you get Maroney's scores. Okay, so it's 7-3, and I think I've got you. Even there, he got hit a few times. Enough to say, oh my gosh, they're going to be hitting me all day. No. But he's been hit a few times already, Brady. And it's really going to become a issue come second quarter. That was the entire first quarter. And that's our entire first part of Super Bowl 42. We're just underway here. 7-3 New England. I'm not even showing you the touchdown. They do score there. 7-3 New England. New England going for perfection. The Giants trying to thwart it, trying to win their third Super Bowl, their first under Tom Coughlin, and we'll continue this S.A.L.T Super Bowl production, Super Bowl analysis, low tech as usual. The hoodie, Miami indicating the perfection on our next S.A.L.T production.